Should foreigners be banned from claiming disability benefits? We're taking your calls, 020 7862 2222. Foreigners should be banned from claiming key disability benefits to reduce the cost of our welfare bill, according to none other than Kemi Badenoch, the Tory leader. The Conservatives have called on Keir Starmer to restrict personal independence payments and sickness top-ups to universal credit to UK citizens only. Those are benefits that could be worth up to £1,200 a month. The move comes after it was revealed the cost of benefits claims by households with at least one foreign national has doubled to nearly £1 billion a month. What do you think of that, Andy?
Well, ideally, the system would be strong enough to make sure that the system isn't being abused by anyone. I don't think that if you've come to live in this country, we should have a two-tier system. If you are living in this country, you're long-term living here, and you are trying to work in your work age, but you are eligible for personal independent payments, as someone who was born in this country was, I don't think there should be a distinction between those two things. I
It's
think
an odd one, is it? Because I'm not trying to think the circumstances in which you would claim. You may have come to this country with a pre-existing disability. You're working, you might be working in a highly paid job, let's say, and you sign on for, let's say, personal independence payments. But you're thinking that that's okay.
Well, I'm thinking if I moved to another country, it'd be difficult now after Brexit, but say hypothetically I moved to Spain and then I required some state support, I would like to think I'd be eligible for that, the same as someone who was born in that country. If I was there with the right intentions. There are a lot of people who are born and bred, British born and bred, who are abusing the system. And I think that's, where the focus probably should be.
What do you think, Saira?
So a couple of things. So I don't like this word foreign. It really annoys me.
People don't use it so much now.
I know, but it's just derogatory. It's like you can frame it in a different way. Notwithstanding that, I believe that you have to protect public resources during these really hard economic times. So I believe that when budgets are really tight, it's only fair that those who have paid into the system the longest through taxes, national insurance, and through work, they should be prioritised. That's my. So if you've been here, you've got to protect the people who've paid in it for longer through national insurance and taxes. So prioritising citizens helps to support, I think, the most.
Is there a worry that we become a sort of national version of League of Gentlemen?
Well, listen, I'm just saying this in the most empathetic way when you have a government. At least the Tories are coming up with some kind of policy. You may agree with it or not, but it's like, how do you save money? You've got to get it from somewhere. So if this is going to be one of those places, then you've got to do it. OK,
Ian in North Ayrshire, should people who are foreign be claiming disability benefit?
I go along, good morning to you all, I go along with Kemi Badenoch on this issue. We're an island nation sinking with financial burdens unknown in British tax history, apart from the two wars. So we need to cut our cloth accordingly for British people. Right, I'm not a nationalist. I just look at the economy and I think of all these people. The figure is in excess of 50% on last year's boat people, and I'm not saying they're coming over particularly to get disability benefits, but they're all coming over looking for a freebie. Right, and the freebie that we, the British taxpayers, look like under the current government, we've got to bear the load, and I'm not one for that.
Is that right? Boat people coming over for a freebie?
I mean, the reality is, I think, you'd be naive to say that there aren't people sponsoring family members to come over saying, if you come over, there are all these benefits, it's a much better life over here than it is over there. I mean, I think that's something to be proud of in this country, but as long as it's not being abused as a system, and as long as the immigration system is working, I don't think we'd be having this argument, and they're not.
OK. Ian, thank you. Emma in London, hi.
Hi.
What do you think? Focusing on people who are foreign, we're still using that word, and claiming disability benefit.
I hate the idea because we've had people that have come over from Afghanistan and places like that and have fought for us and fought for the world and things. they end up with disabilities and stuff, and they should be looked after. You can't have a blanket ban. Like,
Well, if they became British citizens, then at that point this thing would change. But you're right, there's a period before that happens, it might be several years, where they would be Afghani still and claiming, and that's what Kemi Badenoch would stop.
Yeah, and I don't think that that's fair when they've gone and fought to try and make the world a safer place for everybody. Therefore, we all have to do our bit, and in those cases, we should be looking after them.
I think I agree. I think there is a special case that this doesn't apply to asylum seekers. I think that I'm not sure. We might want to just check on that.
So who does it apply? So it applies then to. It's a classic where you come over to work on a work visa. We're not talking about illegals here. And you come over with let's say a pre-existing condition, or maybe you've got a serious degenerative illness, and you gradually need more and more help to do the job that you've...
Well, then perhaps what we're trying to say to people is you come with your own insurance and you have to pay for it. I mean, I'm not, this is what is probably leading to...
I think the key of it is we're talking about sponsored applications, so it can either be sponsored by a workplace or it can be sponsored by a family member. So you're already here, you're a naturalised citizen, but then your aunt's coming, your mum's coming, your son's coming, your daughter's coming. And it's those people who actually are eligible. And I think that's at the core of this question, really, which is whether we have ethnic groups in the country who are inviting other family members to come and live here and make use of our system. I would say I don't have an issue with that, because what foreign people coming to this country get, I should get, and vice versa, as long as the system is managed properly.
We pay more in health and disability benefits than the EU average.
Yes, we do.
And we're right at the top of the league in the EU for paying out money.
But less than Norway, Denmark, Netherlands, Finland, France and Austria. We're not the top of the league.
Right, but we are pushing... We're above average, sorry. That was
We're much bigger populations than those countries, so we've got a bigger burden.
But that's by percentage of GDP.
Fair enough, because you might say, well, actually, if somebody comes over to work... Let's say working with a family business, Indian restaurant, someone comes over to be a waiter and he's hit by a car on his way to work. You might argue it's quite harsh not to pay him a benefit for that. I don't know.
Listen, if I go to America, if I go to America and I have an accident over there, I don't get free health service, do I? I'd have to have my own insurance.
I think
I don't know.
Well, I think they do actually just ask you for loads of money you haven't got, and you have to sell your house. That's kind of their health system.
But my point is it's not free. Like they won't get a benefit from it. So if you're coming, so I think
if you came over with a work permit, there might be disability benefit. No, I doubt it though. I doubt it. Yeah, I doubt it's.
I don't think we should be looking at the United States though as the way that things.
I'm just gave that as an example.
You know what I mean?
But what would happen if I went to Spain then? I don't know the rules, but if I went to Spain, I got an e-hit card.
With the replacement for the e-hit card, after Brexit is slightly different, but you could still
Let's talk to John in Surrey. John, hi.
Hi.
What do you think, John?
I think they should definitely be stopped from getting the disability. We can't even look after our own people that are born and bred over here. Fair enough if they've been living over here many years and they're born over here, that's a different matter. But people that are coming over here, I mean, we can't even look after our own, so we shouldn't be importing them.
But they might... Is it possible that people... By giving people access to disability benefits, you make this a more attractive country for the kind of people we want to attract, John? I'm thinking like AI specialists or software engineers or...
Yeah, well, that's fair enough.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, they're going to be paying their taxes. I'm talking about people that are in jobs where they're on minimum wage, so they're basically paying nothing in anyway. And there's just far too many coming over. We've got no control of it. It doesn't matter how much they pump into the NHS, they're never going to fix the problem until they sort out the problem of illegal and legal immigration and cut it down to sensible figures for legal and stop the illegal altogether. They've got to find a way to do it, because otherwise they're not going to improve. It's just going to get worse and worse.
Thank you, John. Albert in Staffordshire, hi.
Hello.
What do you want to say, Albert?
Well, I'd just like to say I'm a pensioner. I work for 50 full years. I get my state pension, which isn't enough anyway. They keep telling you this triple lock at top to top. You might get £3, £4 a week extra. That isn't enough. Then if I can come on a boat, jump off a boat, fill a form in, get this benefit for doing absolutely no work in this country, then how is that fair? It can't be fair.
I don't know that
I'm not being silly, but they don't have a very easy ride, like you say. A lot of people, are running away from wars. They don't have an easy ride. They're
not in France.
Not all of them, but you make it sound like they've just come over and it's dead easy. It's not, and it's all this word of like they're all coming. It's very derogatory. It's like you just treat it with a bit of respect.
They could, Albert. They could be the future. It's something we've got to get our heads around. We seem to have a population that's not young enough, and we're not getting taxes in. Maybe we need to say, look, we need another 40,000 on the boats.
We've got a lot of our own population that are not willing to work. That's the problem.
Albert.
Fair enough. Let them work. Let them have a job. But don't give them benefits. Surely give them a job, let them work, pay the taxes like I've had to do for 50 years.
Yeah.
Paid all my taxes.
Yeah.
Give you a state pension. What you end up with is what you end up with. There's no say about it. It's not enough. Most pensions will tell you the same. It's not enough. So why can they just come in, let them work, earn the taxes, pay the taxes, earn the pension, and then it's great.
But bear in mind that wouldn't get us around this issue because this applies to people on work visas who are foreign. Still pressing on with that word. So you come here to work. You've got a work visa. If you have a disability, either you arrived with one or you get one in an accident or something, then you can claim. The issue, I think, Andy, would be that every time you have an arrangement like this, it does get scammed. There's no question about it. People they might come over without declaring their disability. They might have a mental illness, let's say.
But Jeremy, don't you think then, in those cases, so that it's not a burden on our NHS and it gives priority to our citizens, that we say to people, if you are coming to this country, you must be able to provide for accidents or disability. You come with an insurance that pays for that.
Yeah.
That makes common sense to me.
Denise in Nottingham, hi.
What?
All right.
What's gone?
Hi, Denise. Oh.
Yeah.
How are you doing? What's up?
Oh, all right. And you?
Yeah. Anything on your mind?
What I'm going to say is, I started work at 14 and a half.
Yeah.
There were no PIP, no sickness benefit. If you're off sick, your parents had to help you.
Yeah.
You couldn't claim. I worked till I was 78. Well, I was 70. I'm 78 now.
63 years.
Right?
Right.
So I paid into the country, and I broke the bottom of my back, and I never, ever claimed PIP.
Well, this is it,
I didn't
isn't
know
it?
about it.
This is the generation. I remember someone called me the other day, said that their uncle's leg was knocked off by a bus. He didn't even think of claiming for that. But I think it's a different world, maybe. Denise, it's a different world.
I think if you've not paid into the country, why should you get money out of it?
OK, thank you so much for
there
calling.
Okay.
Lots of love.
Oh, bless her. Bless her.
That's a career, isn't it? 14 to 70.
It's grafting.
Oh,
there's a lot of
so
people
much
out there. They
admiration.
don't even know PIPs even exist. They roll their sleeves up and they get on with
But
it.
the guy with one leg, I mean, it's amazing. But maybe it's a generational thing.